otherwise we'll just skip. So let's prepare for class just by finding a comfortable seat. Make sure you have a strap close by, maybe a blanket. And we're gonna take it a little gentle this morning. I know on Saturdays sometimes I'll add a little more fire. You know, it all kind of depends on what's going on out there. So we're gonna take it down a notch. And there's always your practice, free to do anything that feels right for your body. If I'm not moving enough and you feel that you need to move, that's fine too. So let's start by just centering and checking in on how we're doing this morning. Right? Let the eyes gently close or take a soft gaze down to the floor and shift your attention to the breath as it moves through the body. Without changing anything, just noticing the inhale and the exhale. Where do you feel that inhalation as it enters into the body? Can you feel that expansion to the ribs, the belly, that little lift to the heart? The top of the inhale, and as you exhale, can you ride that exhalation and begin to relax and let go? And relaxing shoulders, jaw, little corners of the eyes. And just spending a few moments here this morning breathing, feeling the breath as it moves through the body. So when we become stressed, anxious, sometimes just busy, we forget to breathe. Right? We breathe very shallow up in the chest. And that signals our body that we're in some kind of distress. And it turns on that fight or flight. The sympathetic nervous system kicks in. Pulling blood away from the extremities to the major organs. Digestion turns off. Right? And all good things if we're in a battle for our lives. But if we stay in that state for a prolonged period of time, it leads to chronic illness. And research has shown that we are staying in that state much longer than we should be. So I want you to shift your attention to the belly, relax the belly, and take a deep breath into the belly. And let that breath move into the ribs, all the way up to the collarbones. And as you exhale, a slight constriction of the back of the throat, creating an ocean sounding breath. Or Ujjayi breath. Exhaling completely and then letting that full inhale start. As soon as we switch to that diaphragmatic breath, it signals the body and we go into relaxation mode. So as we move into this period of unknown, right, things are starting to close down again. New York City restaurants, no more dining inside. I was texting with Andrea yesterday. Our church suspended all inside worships voluntarily. So we're heading back into those restrictions. It's so important that we make time, maybe even setting a timer 4 or 5 times a day to stop and to breathe. And to stop and to breathe and to notice. Right? What are the emotions? What are the feelings? What are the thoughts? Right? Are we allowing those thoughts to just go off the rails and following them down a rabbit hole? Can we stop them in their tracks and make a conscious decision to shift? Right? Shift to something more positive. Simple affirmation. I am here now, and all is well. Let's set an intention for this morning together. What is it you would like to cultivate on your mat? Maybe a little space, a little peacefulness, some deeper breaths. Or you can dedicate this practice to someone or something. Taking a moment and setting that intention in the heart space. And then bringing the palms together at the heart and bowing the chin to the chest. And noticing if there's anything else that you need this morning to make class enjoyable, accessible, and remembering that nothing in yoga ever hurts. Like there's no goal here other than to watch our reactions, to breathe, to feel, and to allow what is to pass through. Squeezing the palms together on the next inhalation, let the eyes gently open and start to send the fingertips up to the sky. And pause, letting the head drop back and noticing how the neck is feeling this morning. Interlace your fingers and press the palms up to the sky. Take a big breath here as we exhale. Shoulders come back down the body and bring the chin level so we're looking forward. A slight lift to the crown of the head. And then take a gentle reach over to the right, using the left fingertips to guide that, right fingertips to guide that left arm up and over. So I'm mirroring you guys. So we all go in the same direction. And on an exhalation, take the gaze over to the left, right? Upper left corner, like the space where the ceiling meets the wall. And then come on back to center and let the head come back to center. And as if the head is just gliding, use the left hand to pull those right fingers up and over, gentle stretch to the right side. Exhale, glide the gaze and gaze where the ceiling meets the wall on that right side. Let's come on back to center and do that 2 more times to each side, moving really slow, right? We're just warming up. As the arms reach up, we come back to center. As we exhale, the gaze turns in the opposite direction of those hands. One more time over, reaching right, looking left. Coming back through center, reaching left, looking right. Let's reach the arms up to the sky, and as we exhale, release the fingers and gently flutter like confetti. Let the arms come back down alongside the body. And then sweep the palms towards the sky. Big breath in. Reach for the sky. Exhale. Do that 2 more times, fluttering the fingers as the chin drops to the chest. 1 more time like that. Notice the fingers and the wrists and the joints. Chin to chest. Interlace the fingers behind you. Shoulder blades down and back. Watch the lower back here. We're going to pull the belly in to protect the lower back and get really long in the waist. And then let the shoulders come down towards each other, lifting the heart on the inhale. If the neck's okay with it, let the head drop back and look at the sky. And then as we exhale, pull the belly in, rounding forward, chin to chest, lift those arms up. You can bend the elbows out to the side or take a strap between the hands if the shoulders are tight. And then inhale, rising up. So it's a cat-cow spine. Lift the heart, shoulders down and back, drop the head. And as we exhale, belly in, rounding, arms come up. And 1 more time like that. Lengthening on the inhale, and as we exhale, coming forward. Let's release those arms and start some shoulder rolls backwards. Shoulders up, down, and back. Right, so one of the usual suspects of where we hold that tension, the shoulders. And then take that one shoulder at a time, right? And let that motion get really big so that the arms actually come and cross the body, maybe leading with the elbows, coming into little baby twists as the shoulders roll up, down, and back. And come back to center, interlace the fingers, press the palms away. 1 more time, chin to chest, belly in. And as we inhale, Bring those arms back up. As we exhale, just let the left hand find the mat and let the right arm come up and over. Pause here just for a breath. Shoulder is down, neck is long. Put a little bend into the left elbow, creating the side bend on the right side, and then inhale, rising back up. Beautiful. Nice and slow. A few more times like that. And then holding here, right fingers reach towards the left. On the exhale, sweep those fingertips down towards the mat. Turn the palm towards the sky as we inhale and the hand comes behind us. So not just circling the shoulder here, we're rotating the torso as we take those big circles. And then let's circle the other way. The next time the right arm reaches towards the sky, let the left hand come up and meet the right. And as we exhale, hands in prayer down to the heart. Chin to chest, close the eyes, and breathe into the left side, breathe into the right side. And just notice if you sense a difference. So maybe yes, maybe no. Opening the eyes, this time it's the right palm to the mat as the left arm reaches up towards the sky. Just a little bend into the right elbow, creating that side stretch. Take a breath, and then start that pulsing, inhaling up, and as we exhale, we come on back down. Gently moving with the breath into that left side body. And you make this movement as little or as big as feels good in your body. Next time those left fingers reach to the right, pause, take a breath, and start to sweep the hand towards the floor. Palm up to the sky as the hand comes to the space behind us, and find these big rotations. Really getting long in the side body as we come up, and then let's take those circles the other way. And if you're like me, one side may be different than the other. I have an injury on this side. Let the left fingers lift us up. Right hand meets the left, and exhale, hands to heart. And take that breath. And then opening the eyes. If you're sitting on anything, moving them off to the side. And bringing the legs out in front, giving them a little shake. So I had my grandson here yesterday. And he loves for me to read to him. And we were down here playing. 6 times he brought me the poem, the quote by the Dalai Lama. And he made me read it to him 6 times. So I want to share that one more time with you. It seems to be very important to him. So I took that as a sign that I should share it in this morning's class. Let's let the eyes close. And take in some words, wise words from the Dalai Lama. The principal source of happiness is inner peace. Someone who has already had practice in developing this peace, who already has a certain experience of it, will not be easily troubled by ordinary enemies. However, hatred, malice, and spite will immediately destroy this mental calmness. The true enemy, therefore, is malice. External enemies may be real for a certain time, but it is conceivable that one day they may turn into friends. But the inner enemy will always be our enemy. In the beginning, midway through, and at the end, it is impossible that it will ever become useful to us. So take a moment, and as we move through class, just noticing maybe irritations or thoughts that come up, and noticing if we can shift them to something more positive. The inner peace is not about our surroundings, right? And what other people are doing. It's our reactions. So we play on our mat and we watch. And we watch our reactions, and in this safe space, we can make a choice to react differently. And that's like a muscle. The more we practice that, the stronger it becomes. And that's the magic of this yoga, is that we can then take it off the mat and bring it out into our world. And then letting the eyes open. Usually after something like that, it'll bring us into a challenge, but not this morning. All right, let's take the legs out in front. And just take the toes down towards the mat. And as we inhale, bring the toes up towards the sky. Just a few pointing and flexing, noticing how the ankles are feeling this morning. And then make little circles, circling in one direction and circle the other way. Interlace the fingers behind the right thigh and bring the knee in towards the shoulder. And as you exhale, extend that leg out. And do this a couple of times to start to warm up those large muscles, right? The thigh is one of the biggest muscles in the body. You'll start to feel the body heat up. Next time that knee comes towards the shoulder, take the leg across the body and cradle by either holding underneath or taking the foot in the hand and the knee in the hand, and create this little gliding from side to side. Coming into that hip socket. Then cross the right foot over the left leg, bending that left knee, bringing the hands behind for support, and walking the left heel a little closer to the body if you need a deeper stretch. Watch the shoulders, right? Keep pressing them down. Heart is lifted. And just create this little glide from side to side. So there's a pose called double pigeon, right? Where we would drop down and then those knees would stack one on top of the other. This is a prep for that, and it's a great hip opener. You might want to try that after class. You want to be careful with the knees, keep flexing the feet. And then see if you can let those right toes dip towards the floor, coming up and over, and then the knee comes over to the right. So we're moving this into a twist, but only taking it to the point that feels good in your body. Right? If the knees and the hips are cranky, stay really high up with a small movement. If you can get them to touch, that's great. If not, no judgment. Come on back through center and hold the back of that right thigh one more time. Point the toes up towards the sky. Let the left leg relax on the floor, and then walk the hands up to maybe the calf or the ankle, elbows out to the side. And as we take a breath in, lifting that leg up, right? Remember the lift from the heart from the beginning of class, soften the shoulders. And on the exhale, can you possibly bring that leg a little closer in, maybe even bending the knee? And just breathe into that stretch, going down the back of that right leg. One more big breath in. And as we exhale, nice and slow, point the toes and slowly lower that leg back down to the floor. And just for a moment, pause, noticing the sensation in that right leg and the left leg. And maybe the left leg feels a little shorter. Right? Let's even that out. Interlace the fingers behind the left thigh. Bring that knee towards the shoulder and then kick it out. And find a little rhythm here. So like with the shoulders on my right side, I have an injury, so I have to adjust. Same thing with the knees and the hips. Just make this feel good. Next time that knee comes in towards the shoulder, pause and take the leg across the body. Find your grip, whatever that is. Right? So the bind might be something fun to try. Watch the lower back. You don't want to slump here. You want to stay up nice and tall. And continue pulling the belly in and gently gliding that leg from side to side. So completely different movement than what we were doing before. And then bend the right knee and let that foot, that ankle rest just below the right knee, hands behind for support. Gently press the chest towards the shin. Maybe walk the right heel closer if you want a deeper stretch. And then start to find that gentle rock from side to side. And notice if you're still breathing. And deep breath in. And coordinating that movement with that breath. And then see if it would feel good to let the left toes dip all the way down to the right. And then the knee over to the left. And maybe not this morning for your body, and that's okay. Let's come on back to center and release that left leg, interlacing behind. Relax the right leg down. Sit up nice and tall as we lift the leg. Take a breath in, elbows out to the side, belly is tight. And then start to walk the hands up to a spot on the leg where you'll feel the sensation, but not to the point where we hold our breath or anything hurts. No sharp sensation here. Breathe, lift the heart. And as we exhale, can we get that left leg just a little bit closer? Maybe bend the knee to relax the hamstring. And take another breath here. And exhale, see if we can pull it just a little bit more in and lift the heart. Everything's nice and long. And as we exhale, the left leg nice and slow, toes pointing, bringing the body back up. And one more time, just breathing here, right? And sensing left side and right side. Sensation in the body, temperature of the skin, right? Things are starting to move. We're starting to get that prana flowing. Let's bend the knees and separate the feet again. Bring the hands behind and start to gently windshield wipe those knees from side to side. Bringing the knees all the way over to the left. Pressing that left palm down. Sweep the right arm up. And if it feels good, lift those hips. As we exhale, the fingers sweep behind that right bicep by the ear, and we make one long line of energy from the right toes out through the right fingertips. Take the gaze down towards the floor. Relax the face, relax the neck. And if the hips are up on the next exhale, let the hips come down and let that right hand find the mat, turning towards the left. Walk the hands really close to you so you have that support, nice long spine. As we exhale, turn the body towards the left, looking towards that back left corner. As we inhale, unwind through center. And do that 2 more times, gently twisting in and out. And the next time we turn towards that back left corner of the mat, pause. Maybe that's enough sensation here. If you want to come deeper into the twist, walk the hands out. Maybe place a block under the forearms. And then let the head drop and breathe here. Long spine. Anytime we come into a twist, belly in, long spine, shoulders back. And then it's the exhalation that moves the body a little deeper into the twist. Exhaling out all the air, finding a little more space here. And in these moments of stillness, right, can you notice the body is still, but there's still movement? Right? The breath moving through the body, the prana, the energy. On the next exhale, rising back up, taking the knees up and over to the right. This time it's that right palm that's down. Left leg extends. Inhale, left arm up. And only if it feels good, lift those hips. On the next exhalation, sweep the fingers up and over, bicep by the ear as we create that long line of energy from the toes out through the fingertips. Breathing here. Big breath in. Relax the neck by turning the gaze down towards the mat. And on the next exhalation, if the hips are up, let them come down. Let that left hand travel around to find the right as we gaze at the back right corner of the mat. And then start that gentle pulsing in and out. As we inhale, we gently unwind. As we exhale, we gently turn towards that back corner. And 2 more times like that. And the next time we turn towards the back corner, pause, breathe. Is this enough? If you'd like a little more sensation, walking the hands out, coming onto the forearms or a block, letting the head drop between the arms, letting the eyes close, and taking those deep, deep breaths. Imagine the breath is coming from the base of the spine and traveling all the way up the spine to the crown of the head on the inhale. And as we exhale, it travels back down. And then beginning to walk the hands close to the body, coming back up and gently unwinding. So working on a little bit of spine strengthening this morning, we're going to come onto the belly and just turn towards that right side. So we're turning towards that short end of the mat. Really important when we do the spine work. So the abs and the back there connected, right? Strong abdominal muscles keeps that lower back safe. So the first thing we want to do is we want to pull the navel in towards the spine and keep that engagement the entire time here. Press the forearms into the mat, press the palms into the mat, and spread the fingers nice and wide. And the shoulders are in line with the elbows. And see how that feels. We're going to press the hips into the mat and gently pull the chest up and through that little window of the arms that we're making, coming into Sphinx pose. So if this is uncomfortable in the lower back, I know some of you guys have issues with the lower back, move the elbows further away from you and drop the chest down. You don't want to feel any crunching in the lower back. If you want more sensation, you can press into the palms and gently start to lift the elbows off the mat, coming into a gentle cobra pose. Shoulders down and breathing here, right? Finding where your body needs to be this morning. And just take 2 deep breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling. And with the next exhalation, slowly lowering down and turn your right ear towards the mat. Look to the left. Let the arms come alongside the body, palms up. And just breathe. Maybe closing the eyes. Feeling the breath, the belly pressing into the mat as we inhale. And as we exhale, gently lifting the head, looking forward. And this time taking the arms all the way up in front of us. So the palms are resting on the mat. The chin is on the mat. We're looking between the hands. And we're going to separate the feet and press into like the knees and just kind of lift up and see if you can make a little more space by taking the hips further down. A little space in that middle back. And then come up on the fingertips like little spiders and see how that feels, right? Maybe it feels better down on the palms. Then reach through the right fingers, press into the right foot, and reach through the left toes. So opposite hand and foot. On an inhale, just lift those right fingers up. And as we exhale, slowly lower down. And then lift that left foot up just a tiny bit. Reach the toes back like we're trying to touch the wall behind us and lower back down. Let's switch that. Press into left foot, right foot into the hands. Take a breath. And as we exhale, let everything go. And now let's lift those left fingers up towards the sky. Gently coming up and exhale, coming down. And lift. Right toes back and up. Gently coming up and gently coming down. And then find a little rhythm like we're swimming. Opposite arm and leg comes up. On the inhale, as we exhale, we lower. And the other side. And one more time on each side. Nice long spine. Come back through center, this time turning and facing the opposite way. Let the arms come down, palms face up, and breathe. Bringing the head back to center, bend your knees and bring one hand on top of the other. Palms down, let the forehead rest on the back of the hands and gently windshield wipe those knees from side to side. So releasing any tension that we might have created in the lower back. Let the feet come back down, bring the palms under the shoulders. Press through tabletop and all the way back to child's pose. Counter stretch for the spine strengthening. And try walking the hands closer, dropping the elbows down to the mat, maybe supporting the forehead with one hand on top of the other or little fists. Another option is to reach the fingers down and back towards the heels and let the forehead rest. And take 3 breaths in your child's pose. And checking in on the lower back, making sure that feels okay. And then come on up to tabletop. Finding your tabletop, pressing the floor away by pressing the palms into the mat. Spread those fingers nice and wide like starfish. And then position the knees under the hips, maybe walking them out a little bit further if that feels good. Drop the belly, lift the gaze, and look up. As we exhale, press into the floor, round the spine, into cat pose. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. And exhale, reverse into cat. 3 more times like that with the breath. Maybe tucking the toes as we drop the belly. And then as we exhale, flatten the feet. Press into cat. Maybe stopping along the way, right? Just taking an extra breath in cat or cow. And the next time you arch into cat pose, start to send the hips towards the heels and over, coming back up, and find these big hip circles. So if this bothers the knees, you can always do this on the back, just hugging the knees into the chest, like when we do our little froggy legs. Let's take those circles the other way. Come on back to tabletop. Shoot that right foot to the back of the mat. Toes down, press through the heel, and do a couple of little rocks forward and back. An opportunity to come into a balance or stay here with the toes down on the mat. So find a nice long spine, right? And remember, the neck is part of that. So let the neck be an extension following the natural curve of the spine. Press into the hands, press into that left foot, and see if the right leg wants to come up. Squaring the hips, and then pointing the toes, taking the toes down. See what feels better. If the toes are down, imagine there's an imaginary wall that you're pressing your heel into. Engage the core. Belly presses towards the spine, and then walk the left fingers to the top of the mat. Stay here if you want to build a little fire. Sweep the left arm up as we lift through the right foot. Right, opposite hand and leg. On an exhale, let the elbow come in towards the knee and round the spine like we did in cat. And then inhale, lengthen. 2 more times like that. And then let the hand come back, let the knee come back. Find a little wag of the tail, taking the hips side to side. Let's come back to center and take that the other side. Take the left foot, back of the mat, toes down, press through the heel. Do that a couple of times, rocking forward and back. Then find your foundation, press into the right foot, and on an inhale, lift the left leg. Toes point down, press the heel away. Nice long spine. Maybe it feels better to point the toes. Then just walk the right fingers up. Maybe stay here, maybe drop the toes back down. Or on an inhale, lift the right fingers up and away from the left toes. Breathing here. Think lengthen the spine. As we exhale, everything comes together, elbow towards the knee. Inhale, lengthen. And 2 more times like that. Reaching out. Let the hand come down, let the knee come down. Take the knees nice and wide, and 1 more time. Press the hips towards the heels. Finding child's pose. And breathing. So even in the balance, even in moments of on steadiness. And can you still find that inner peace? It's coming back to tabletop. While we're here, let's take a pigeon pose. So if your knees have had it and the wrists have had it, take a seated pigeon, okay, crossing the ankle over the knee. That's how we started earlier. Give yourself a little break. Otherwise, you can enter pigeon from downward facing dog if you like that better, or from tabletop. We're going to start with the right leg first. Extend the right leg out. Take a breath, find that nice long spine, and as we exhale, bring the knee all the way over to the right side of the mat and walk the left foot back. So stay up nice and high in proud pigeon if that's what the body needs. Take a little block and place it under the hip. Watch the knee. We want to flex the feet. And if this doesn't work for the knee, you keep moving that right heel closer and closer. In the Kripalu tradition, you actually rest on the heel. Takes a lot of that strain off the knees. Extending left foot back. And as we exhale, gently finding your version of pigeon. Maybe forearms to the mat, maybe block. Maybe rocking the hips a little bit side to side. And then finding a place where you can stay for at least 4 or 5 breaths. And with every exhalation, sending the breath into that right hip. Breathing fully into the belly. Exhaling completely. And then checking in with the rest of the body. Are you clenching the jaw? Are you squeezing the eyes? And can we relax what we can, what we don't need to hold? And just be with the sensations, the emotions, as if we're watching a movie, like non-reactive, non-attached, just letting those thoughts come and go. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And start to prepare to come out by pressing palms into the mat and on an exhale, coming back into that proud pigeon. Your choice here, tuck those left toes, and you can either come into a child's pose, swinging that right knee back, tabletop, or maybe it would feel really good to come into downward facing dog. Like tucking the toes, lifting the hips, finding that upside down V, bending one knee and straightening the opposite leg. And from here, coming back to tabletop, or if you want to try entering pigeon from down dog, just lifting left leg up, coming into this Ekapada Adho Mukha Shavasana. And then hugging that knee in and dropping the left knee behind the left wrist. Right leg comes back and set yourself up on the other side. And the side might feel completely different, right? Take your time, maybe a little rock side to side. Seated pigeon, always an option. And with the breath, gently making your way back down. Forearms, maybe block, fists, something to support the forehead. And finding a place where you can hold the pose for at least 5 deep breaths. So for someone like me, holding a pose for 5 breaths is more challenging than standing on one leg or standing on my head, because it forces me to slow down. And as a pitta, that's a difficult task, right? Forcing me to slow down, focus on sensation, focus on the breath, and just processing what's happening here, right? Can I be okay with the thoughts that come and go? Can I just watch those emotions and breathe into any discomfort? All beautiful tools of our yoga. With every exhale, send your attention into that left hip. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And preparing on that second exhalation, sliding palms under shoulders and pressing back up. Big breath here in proud pigeon. And then just take the left hip over to the side and swing the legs back out in front. Coming into a seat, bring the legs out in front, give them a little shake. And hug that right knee and bring it in towards the chest. Maybe step it over the left leg. Maybe not. Maybe keep it right on the floor inside. Let's bring that right hand behind and sweep the left arm up towards the sky. As we exhale, gently turn the body towards the right and inhale, opening back up through center. And 2 more times like that. Pulsing in and out, preparing for our twist. The next time we turn towards the right, wrapping the elbow around the knee or taking the palm to the knee. Find the length first in the spine and then press the belly button into the thigh as we gently start to turn towards the right. So it's that back shoulder that leads the movement. The chin stays right in between and we never force here. Just a gentle twist. On an inhale, we unwind and take that right leg down and bring the left leg in. Stepping left foot over right leg if that feels good. Letting the left hand come behind. Inhale, right fingers up to the sky. As we exhale, gently taking a turn towards the left and inhaling back to center. And 2 more times like that. And then letting the elbow catch the knee or maybe the palm to the thigh. Find the length first and then pull the belly in and let that back shoulder lead the way as it presses back and we gently turn towards the left. Breathing in, find the length. Exhaling, a little deeper twist. And then gently unwinding, bringing the legs up, giving them a shake. Bending the knees, turning so that we're facing that long end of the mat. And bringing the hands out in front, right? Lift the heart coming up towards the legs. As you exhale with that lifted chest, gently release back. And find this little coming up and coming back. You can hold on to the knees or hold on to the back of the thighs. Any issues with the lower back, you want to stay really high here. You don't want to come down. Right, and then with the next exhale, slowly lower yourself down to the mat. On your way down there, make sure that your strap is accessible. If it's not, grab it before you come down. Now let's take the feet as wide as the mat and let the knees drop on each other. Let the thighs rest on each other and take the arms and give yourself a hug. Drop the chin to the chest, the gaze to the heart, constructive rest. Just take a few breaths here, pressing the lower back into the mat. So we did that spine strengthening sequence. Sometimes that can tweak the lower back. So we want to make sure we take care of that. Notice which arm is on top. And as we inhale, just open the arms up, nice wide V. And as we exhale, cross the other way. Fingertips reach for the shoulders. Give yourself a hug. Right? Hugging those elbows, one on top of the other. Fingers reaching for the shoulders. And press the lower back into the mat. Let's inhale, releasing the arms up towards the sky. So fingertips reaching towards the sky, separate the feet, separate the knees, press that lower back in, and take a breath and get the entire spine pressing into the mat. Right? So there's no curve to the lower back. Belly is pressing in. It's like we're making a spinal imprint on the mat. And as we exhale, bring those knees towards the body, toes off the mat, and then take a breath and send the feet up towards the sky. Entire back presses into the mat as we reach through the fingers and reach through the toes. Dead bug pose. And take 3 breaths here. Reaching up, and as we exhale, really pressing that lower back into the mat. On the next exhalation, bend the knees, let the feet dip towards the floor, bend the elbows, let the fingers touch the shoulders, and then inhale, rise back up. Do that a couple of times, bending and straightening. Next time we extend, pause here again. We're going to switch this up by opening the legs into a wide V, opening the arms. As we exhale, crossing right over left, finding that hug, bending the knees, and then open up. Big breath in, exhale, left over right, cross those knees, give yourself a hug. One more time in each direction. And then pause here. So it should be left over right, but if it isn't, don't worry. Walk the hands to the knees, maybe the calves or the shins or the ankles, and pull those legs in towards the body. The feet are separating, so we're like a beautiful bow. Our legs are tied up like a bow, and the entire spine is pressing into the mat. Right? You can always just hold that top knee or the bottom knee, or come behind the thigh, right? Get creative. How can we get those knees pressing into the body? It's a great little stretch for the piriformis. Big breath in. As we exhale, release. Notice which leg's on top, and then cross the other way. Bending the knees, letting the toes drop out to the side, and then grabbing either the knees, the thighs, calves, ankles, shins, whatever you can get, and pulling the legs out and down, and breathing here. Let's release back up, and this time bend the knees and let the feet find the mat. Take the arms alongside the body, palms down, press into the feet. Take the lower back and press it into the mat so that the hips start to gently lift up off the mat. And then release back to the natural curve of the spine. Give yourself these little massage, right? Just rocking the pelvis. Pressing into the feet as we lift the hips. And the next time we start to lift the hips, see if they want to come up a little bit higher. And then exhale 1 vertebra at a time, back down to the mat. And then start to lift the hips and let the fingers reach up and overhead. Maybe the back of the hands rest on the floor. Exhale, everything slowly comes down to the mat. Floating bridge pose. 2 more times like that. And coming back down. And now your choice, either pressing up into bridge or finding your block and taking that restorative bridge. Just resting the block at the sacrum. If it feels good, letting the knees rest on each other. Palms can come to the belly. Or palms up, face up towards the sky, shoulders resting on the mat. Coming back into a restful, supported bridge, or if you feel the need to press into a traditional bridge, that's your choice. Okay, what does your body need right now? Whatever you choose, take 3 breaths here, nice and deep. And if you took the restorative option, lifting the hips, moving the block, and slowly lowering back down. Let's hug those knees into the chest. Find a gentle little rock side to side. Keep the right knee in and let the left leg extend. Pavanamuttasana, wind liberating pose. So you can hold below the knee or behind the knee. Kick that left foot away as that right knee comes in, either towards the armpit or shoulder, or if you'd like to bring it more towards the middle. So one is more of a hip stretching. Let's see which feels better. One more breath here. And as we exhale, just switch. Left knee comes in, right leg comes down. We take the right toes up, press the heel away as that left knee comes towards the armpit or shoulder, or maybe in towards the midline of the body. Your choice here. Big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Just for a moment, extend the legs out. Let the palms come to the belly and take 3 deep breaths here. Noticing the breath. Sensation, and see if there's any other movement that the body is looking for. Maybe a happy baby. Right? Maybe something that we didn't already do. Maybe something we did that you want to repeat. Another twist. Legs up the wall. And take a few breaths, a few moments just to move the body in a way that feels good. I'll keep an eye on the screen, and when I see the movement stop, I'll bring us into our relaxation. Okay, so starting to bring that movement to stillness and finding a place where the body can rest just for a few moments in Shavasana. And as we prepare for our relaxation, I'd like to share a poem by Dana Fowles called The Weston Prayer. I pray to stay open today, open to the unrestrained energy of now, open to mystery and power, to whatever comes, open to routine and surprises, to moving past my first reactions, open to my imperfections and the divine spark that underlies them, open to wonder and the everyday grace of life unfolding as it does, open to events and circumstances that I like and those that I don't, open to fatigue and overflowing energy, open to listen and to speak, to love in all the ways it manifests, to give and receive, to seasons changing, priorities rearranging, nothing staying the same for very long, open to letting beliefs dissolve into the ether, open to the direct experience of truth, open to forgetting and remembering, open to life and open to death, open to seeing old patterns and letting them go, open to fear and courage, ease and difficulty. I pray to stay open. With the next exhalation, let everything go. Feel the body resting, the support beneath you, and let the focus be the breath. That prana rides on the breath. Every inhalation is an opportunity for growth, new beginnings, new births. And every exhale is a chance to let go and release whatever it is that isn't serving us. Start to relax all the muscles of the face, relaxing the jaw, the teeth, the tongue, the lips. And let that relaxation come into the cheeks, the temples, the eyes and the eyelids and the forehead. Relaxing the scalp and the back of the head. Feel the head resting on the support beneath it. Relaxing the back of the neck, the shoulders and shoulder blades, the entire back body, upper, middle, and lower back. Relaxing the throat and the chest, the space around the heart, the ribs, the rib cage, the waist and the belly and the sides of the torso. Let the shoulders go and let that relaxation travel down the arms, relaxing upper arms and elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, and all 10 fingers. Relax the hips and the seat muscles, the pelvis, the thighs. Relax the knees, the calves and the shins, the ankles, the feet, and all 10 toes. And take another breath, and on the exhalation, letting go of anything else that needs to be released. And staying open to the gifts, open to the mystery, open to whatever it is that life brings us. And remembering that our reactions are really the only thing that we can control right now. And making that choice over and over again to find the beauty in the mystery, to find the bless in the mess, and to have that gratitude for what we do have. And sending a wave of gratitude over your body this morning for the way it moved you through class. Sending gratitude to our Sangha who practices with us. And so much love in my heart for this group, for this practice, continuing through these times. And then gently rolling to one side, finding a fetal position as we bring ourselves back. And just noticing the effect of this morning's practice on the breath, on the body, on the mind and the thoughts. And remembering to take time throughout the day, throughout your week, right? Feel the way you feel right now. And this is accessible at any time. And just taking a moment and switching our attention to the breath and sensations in the body with a loving, non-judgmental awareness. And when you're ready, coming to any seat, bringing the palms together and bowing the head to the heart. And noticing if your heart has any messages for you this morning. Remembering that our body speaks to us all the time. We're usually just too busy to listen. So taking that time and then finding the joy in your day today. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your Saturday morning, part of your journey. It's such an honor to be sharing this with you. Namaste. If you guys can unmute yourself.